Hello, welcome to the Jaye New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. We are up to number 25, Lady Jaye. So this is an interesting one. This is the 25th, I would say, I guess, numbered classify figure, but it's definitely not the 25th figure because we had the 00 Snake Eyes, and we had the running variants of Roadblock, Duke, Scarlet. Then we had the variant of Cobra Commander number 6. So there are a lot more figures. There's probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more figures. So technically, we're on our 30th figure, technically. But in the numbering, we are on 25, so I am using 25 as my episode for this episode. Lady Jaye. So let's go into Lady Jaye a little bit. We are on Dan Klingensmith's series of books again. This is volume 2 of 3 3/4 Joe. Technically, it's the history of G.I. Joe by Dan Klingensmith. I have an earlier version of the first 6 volumes, so they look slightly different. Lady Jaye had a lot of different color variations, and the fun thing about Lady Jaye is she is a character that has been reused many times over the years in different countries with different colors. There's a yellow version, there's a red version, there's a lot of different versions of her. You can see by this color study up here or over here, there's a lot of different versions of her. So they may have just taken some of those different versions of the color studies and used one of them for these different countries. There's a really mustardy color, there's a red color, there's different camos and stuff like that. So let's see what Dan has to say about Lady Jaye. Alternate names: Lady Shea, Shea. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Year release 1985. Designed by Ron Rudat. All right. So at one point labeled as Scarlet, number 2, Ron dressed Lady Jaye in a jumpsuit and boots that had a Behringer attached. Throughout the design process, she went from long hair to having short hair and a cap. So there you go. So they were trying to make a decision as to what they were going to do. You can kind of see some of those head choices there. And so then we have Lady Jaye. That's what they ended up with. So now we're going to go into her original package appearance. Now let's see. I'm going to have to try and cover some of these up so it doesn't interfere. But there you go. That's her cover, her original cover package. And she has a few different accessories. I believe I have all the accessories with my O-ring. So she looks really, I would say, a little different in that artwork than the figure and even the classified figure. But that is also Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe by 3D Joe's Carson Metaxas. This is volume 2 of that series of guides. And if you want a more modern version of these, Carson made the Omnibus by him and Chad Huckle. The Omnibus is so big and so chunky, it's hard to lift up and down to show you different things because it's all in one volume. So I'm using his older series of guides that he based the Omnibus off. expanded and added and all that stuff. So if you do want to get that, you can go to 3djoes.com. Carson Metaxas, Chad Huckle worked on that, and it is such a beautiful piece. These guides are really a lot easier and more convenient to use, and they're beautiful as well. All right, so then we're going to go to, let's see, her first comic book appearance is issue 32, Lady Jaye. She appeared with one of my all-time favorite characters, the exact same time, same page, everything. Um, Lady Jaye with Ripcord, at almost the second to the last page of G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero. So there's that. She also appeared in the Sunbow miniseries, The Mass Device. She was not in the Weather Dominator. She was in the Mass Devices, where she first appeared at the Sunbow animated series. And then we have her original vintage figure. So we're going to open that up. Let's see. Like I said, she has a few accessories. This is one that I do have most of the accessories. All right. And she's in pretty tight condition, I must say. Pretty tight condition. She's very tight. Everything's not loose, which is good. There she is, vintage Lady Jaye. She has her backpack. She has her ball cap. Ball cap's not removable. She does have this weapons. Oh no, actually, she has a camera because she's a like a kind of a stealth operative. So she's always looking to get stuff on camera, I guess. And we're gonna get into that camera in a little while. But there's an upgrade to that camera for the classified version. All right. So I'm going to add that to her there, her camera. And then she has her staff, her cool staff gun there. Actually, it's better to look at it that way. So I can try to put it in her hand. I don't think it. Oh, yeah, there it is. It's in her hand. All right. So there's your vintage Lady Jaye. I have no paint rubs or anything. There's only a few different paint decos on her, but she looks pretty good, I've got to say. I think that was a very good vintage figure on Hasbro's part in the 80s. So then we're going to move on to... Oops, I put her upside down. Let's see. Do we have anybody in the chat this morning? Nope, nobody in the chat so far. There she is. And so we are going to go on to her first classified figure. So like I said before, number 25. This is the first time we're opening this. Now, one of the members of one of my subscriber members shared a page that had all the insignias and stuff like that, Michael Gene Fleming. And I appreciate Michael Gene Fleming sharing that to me. I clicked on the Lady Jaye one to see what all these mean, and it said classified, and I could not bring up the designations, but I'm sure it's something to do with like espionage, disguise, videographer, probably proficient with that staff. Those type of things are probably the skills that she has there. But like I said, I don't really know. So I was happy that Michael Gene Fleming had shared that, but I could not get Lady Jaye's to come up. So in case you're watching this after the fact, Michael Gene Fleming, could not get hers to come up. And thank you anyways. All right, so there's the back. And let's see, did they add Lady Jaye to this? Yep, they added Lady Jaye to this piece of artwork right there. I love how as they go along with this piece of art, they keep adding more and more characters. And this is another one of those pieces of art. The final one, I would like to get the poster of it. I may end up having someone make it for me just so I can put it like in the background or something like that. Not that I don't have enough stuff in the background of my videos. I do have stuff. Now she has a beautiful piece of art. It looks a little anime-ish to me, this art. And then it wraps around there. I really like it. I think they did a good job with her. That's another one of those things that I really, really like about these classified is that artwork. And I've said it many, many times, and I hope they do a book on that. I'm hoping Hasbro does a whole bunch of things. So, book on the art, um, a um, a poster of this, a poster of the Cobra Island poster, and a whole bunch of different things. I wish they were like more like the Maddie Collector classics line back in the day, where they gave all this stuff as part of the Maddie Collector membership that you subscribe to, you bought and everything. I think it would be a fun incentive thing to do for memberships to join the membership. Not only getting uh, free shipping and stuff like that, and getting in early on some of those figures, you could get other cool things like this. Maybe put some T-shirts in there. I don't know. It's I don't work for Hasbro, but there's the blue star background because she's a Joe. We seem to be a little bit um, uneven right at this point. If you look at the figures, there's like including her and the next figure, there's only 8 Joes thus far, and there's like 12 or 13 Cobras if you include variants and this and that. Um, so yeah, the Cobras are outweighing the Joes a little bit. All right, so we're gonna move on to her figure. So because it's classified, they made her a little bit darker. Her deco a little bit darker than the vintage. The vintage is a little bit more lime green, and she's definitely more of a I won't say military green. I will say like green, a normal green, not a military um, uh, like grunt green, but definitely not the lime green that she had in her vintage figure. And we will get to that lime green version eventually. Not for a little while, but we will eventually. All right, so she has a secondary. She has the secondary belt with some pouches and a sheath on there. Um, she's a very nice upgrade from the vintage one, even though I think the vintage one is pretty spot on for Lady J. I think it's a really good figure. There's a lot of paint deco. They added a lot of shading in the legs here, paint deco wise. And so she's definitely got a lot more going on. She's got like a little I guess, I don't know, a police badge on her belt there. There's a little police type badge there. It's a little blue and silver. She's got a lot of um, I guess you would call them like harnesses and stuff around her shoulders and her neck. You can see those. And then she has a tampo on her, I guess that if you look at it from my viewpoint, it's the right arm. Let me see if we can see what that is. Um, I'm not sure exactly what that tampo stands for. If anybody in the chat watches this and they know what that is, share it with me because I don't know. Um, Basically, her boots are black boots. She's got basic black gloves. Um, let's see. Oh, her hair comes off. I just touched her head and her hair came off. So I guess her hair is exchangeable with her hat. So that can bring us to her hat, and we'll see what that looks like. So her hair came off, and there's a hat, a ball cap, like the vintage figure. Oops. Uh, Vintage figure, ball cap with hair. There. So we're going to put that on her because that's closer to her vintage figure. She had that. ball cap on in the vintage. So there you go. So now she looks more like her vintage because she has her ball cap. I'll take her hair off and I'll put her over there. There. And then let's see, we have her backpack. Now this is where we're going to get into the camera situation because this camera is a GoPro camera, which is a modern camera that they use for extreme sports, and a lot of people use it on vacation when they're doing stuff. It has a little teeny camera up there. I'm going to show my camera in my camera. That's a little meta, but okay. So let's see. We're going to put that on her backpack, on her back. Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to show a little bit of her back. She has those harnesses. You can see they come across the back and everything. So it looks like the backpack actually is part of the body with the harnesses and stuff like that. So I'm going to add that to that. And her backpack's a little bit different. She had more of a rucksack pack in the vintage. I can maybe show you a little bit of that. There's the rucksack pack there. And then this one has the GoPro there. It kind of goes over her shoulder there. So you can get a better view of this figure because the lighting in this particular space is much better. So you can look at her face. It's a really nice jet paint job on that face. Yeah. She's got the neck joint there that goes up and down, the ball joint. So she has the new articulation on the neck. Um, she has the shoulder articulation. Oh, and they have a female butterfly joint on this one. So that's the first time we've got the butterfly joint for females. We did not have that for Scarlet or the Baroness. So now we have it for Lady Jaye. So that's a first. And so we also have the muscle, the the calf, whatever you want to call that muscle, the um, swivel. We have definitely the and she definitely has the elbow, the double elbow uh, articulation. She does not have the wrist articulation. They did not give her the wrist articulation, but she's got the hand articulation. So that is one. So I guess depends on the figure or the character. They sometimes give the wrist articulation, but she's got the hand articulation. She's got everything else that all the newer figures have so far, and they have that on both sides. And in the legs, let's see what she has. She has the new ankle swivel there. She's got the double knee joint, and she has the thigh. So she has the double knee and the thigh ankle articulation there. She has the ab crunch and the waist articulation, both of those. So depending upon whether you have a really heavy secondary, you won't be able to see that crunch, that ab crunch in these. So there you go. And then of course she has one of my favorite points of articulation is the foot rocker. So that I like because you can hold these in better positions and stuff like that when you're trying to put them up. So there, her backpack doesn't stay on very tight because it keeps swiveling back and forth. So I don't care for that. I like a tight backpack. But I know there was a problem early on with backpacks with people with figures, so that is obviously something that we're gonna end up dealing with there. All right, so let's see what else we have. We have two little knives. One, two. Let's see where these knives go. All right, so they have little holes in the bottoms of them, so they must go on the stabs. So she has different types of stabs and the knives must go on there. So let's try to do that. Here's one. Javelins, I guess you would call these, not staffs, javelins. So she has two of them. All right, I'm going to try to put one of these knives in one of these javelins. Yep, yep. And it went right in there. All right. So here's the other one. Yep. There you go. Two javelins. All right. So we have two javelins. Then we have a, looks like an alternate GoPro um, attachment. Another GoPro attachment. See if you can see that there. GoPro. So I've got to figure out where this GoPro attachment go. Oh, okay, it goes on the side of the backpack. There's a little grabber thing there that this can go into. So good. So they're putting everything on the figures. So that's what I like. That's one of my favorite things is when everything is able to be on the figure itself. All right, so then we have another little knife, a black knife. So I'm guessing that's going to go in one of her sheaths on her secondary. She's got two. Uh, she has a spot, I guess, only one spot on her secondary for a knife there, and we're going to put that in there. So that went right in there. So there you go. Okay. And then she has a actual gun, which the vintage one did not come with an actual gun. She did. There you go. Actual gun. It has a lot of that greeble that I always talk about on a lot of this stuff. You can see a lot of the detailing in the greeble on these. I don't know how close I can get to my camera so you can see that greeble, but there it is right there. See that? So there's a lot of cool stuff on there. So I'm going to put this in one of her hands. I hope I can get it to stay. Because watching these videos, if you watched enough of them, that I have such a difficult time getting these things in these hands. All right, I got it in there. So now she can do a kind of like a cross thing here with her hands where she can hold her weapon there like that. So you have her at a like a cross position. She's holding her weapon there. The next thing is to figure out what to do with these javelins. I'm gonna say she could have held one of them in her hand to throw it. Let's see if there's any place to put these. I do not see a place to put the javelins on her anywhere. So we cannot carry these spare javelins unless she's holding one javelin and then holding the gun, but then you'd still have the extra javelin left over. And then she also has her hair piece that she is not able to store that. So there's three pieces of her that can't be stored. So I'm not happy about that. I would prefer if they could store the two javelins, I'd be okay. Like they could have put two little grabber things there, um, but I don't know. So that bothers me. I know it's a little thing overall for this figure, but it is a good figure overall. Uh, it's a step up from I would say the Scarlet figure because I had such a hard time with that crossbow. But they're going to improve that Scarlet figure down the road. So some of this stuff that I'm talking about in this video, we will come back to it. We'll come back around, as they say. But overall, this is an excellent figure. I won't say it's up there with the Cobra Trooper, Cobra Infantry figures and the Viper and things like that. Some of those Cobra Island ones are really good. but it's a little bit less than those. I would say it's better than some of the earlier ones. So it's a middle. At this point, I would say this is a middle one. I do like the updated GoPro. I like that you could get most of her gear and stuff like that on her. Um, I kind of like the darker green um, of her her jumpsuit and stuff like that than the lime green. I thought the lime green was a little too bright, but for Hasbro in the 80s, that was just the beginning of the bright colored costumes and uniforms. So the fact that Classified is making these a little muted, a little bit darker, I'm happy about that. Classifying this up and making it more realistic is good to a certain point. Don't go too far. So this is a really good middle ground for Classified right now with this Lady J. We're in a really nice middle place with the Joes. The Cobras, I don't mind being a little bit further up because they should have more advanced tech because they're a terrorist organization that's always looking for advances and stuff like that. So GI Joe is always struggling to try and keep up and get to those advances and stuff like that. And teamwork is what helps them in a lot of the cases fight Cobra. So there's your Classified Lady J number 25. There you go, 25. Um, Lady J comparison. All right, so we're gonna just put her over here until she joins the ranks, and I will put her with the ranks down the road. So next, um, so I talked about it. I think it was on Tuesday, or I shouldn't say Tuesday. I should say episode 24. We are very, 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 very close to getting to 100 subscribers. So I appreciate everybody that has subscribed, and I appreciate everybody that's watching these videos live and watching these videos after the fact. It really means a lot to me and helps this channel grow and get to the point that we're trying to get to, which is 100 subscribers. I know it's not like a ton, but I'm very proud of that accomplishment when we do get to that point. All the people that are interested in watching this, that are interested in these deep dives into these characters and these figures, are watching because they enjoy the content. So I prefer that. I prefer people that are interested and want to watch this stuff and not that aren't just subscribing for no reason. So all of you out there, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. So we are just about to 100 subscribers. So please like, share, and let people know about the series. Remember, we are doing this 5 years after they came out. So there is a different perspective on these, and you can learn different things from them because we know the history now. We know what went into some of this stuff. It's been talked about on different interviews with the Hasbro team, so I can get into those issues and those situations and stuff. Whereas when they were reviewed the original time by other podcasters and toy experts out there, they might not have that information, but I do because this is 5 years after the fact. And if there's any questions or if there's anything that I can ask or answer and add to these reviews, I will do so for you. And if Lone Dragon, you're watching this after the fact, I've been waiting for you to come back on so I can share something with you that you asked for. So that's why we're in this new space. So I'll stay here until you come back and I can show you what I wanted to show you. Uh, I'm not going to do that for everybody, but Lone Dragon's been a good follower and has been very respectful, kind in the chat. So I'm just going to do this for him or Lone Dragon. I don't know if it's a him or her or whatever else. So there you go. So yes, so we're almost to 100 subscribers, and once we hit that 100 subscribers, I will do a special top 10 of my favorite characters from A Real American Hero, Jaye Joe in the 80s, and some of them you're going to be surprised about, and the order that I have them in, you're going to be surprised about as well. It should be a really fun video once we get to that point. And then also because I made a promise many moons ago when I started my YouTube channel, if we got to 100, I would do a open review of my Street Fighter figures, and I would start with the very first Street Fighter figure. I think that was Ryu. So that'll be the first review there. I will do a video on that as well if we get to 100. Uh, and hopefully that's very soon. It's very, very close. All right. So that's another classified review. I hope everybody is doing okay out there in the world. Um, we have a couple other um, videos coming very shortly from the channel, talking about a bunch of other hot topics, and there'll be a comic book review coming up, another comic book review coming up, and also try to keep an eye on the Talking Toys series that I am a part of on Sundays at 2 o'clock with Terry Ruin and Dan Thompson. Um, and so that I think that covers everything. Thank you again, and yo, Joe.